On this Sunday, we are celebrating the Feast of the Epiphany, which is technically on January 6th, tomorrow. But we're celebrating it today, on the 12th day of Christmas. We need to get the poor wise men out of the cold narthex and finally up to the manger before we pack them away in boxes later on today. So in order to get them there, we're celebrating Epiphany today. The Epiphany is also sometimes referred to as the manifestation of our Lord Jesus Christ to the Gentiles. So who are these Gentiles? Well, they are the wise men, of course. These visitors from the East were foreigners. They are often referred to as wise because they studied astronomy and were drawn by a strange star in the heavens. We don't know that there was 3 of them. We're not told that. We're just told that some wise men came. But they offered 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. 3 gifts, 3 men. So the tradition has been that there were 3 of them. Now, these men were not the first visitors who arrived to see the Christ child. On Christmas, we heard about the shepherds who were watching their flocks at night, and suddenly they were surrounded by an angelic chorus of angels announcing the birth of the child, and they rushed to see this wondrous thing. So we have 2 sets of visitors who arrived to witness the coming into the world of the Messiah. The first group, the shepherds, didn't have to do anything to learn about this event. Angels simply appeared, announced the birth, and told them where to go. The second group of visitors, the Magi, had to do quite a bit of work to find their way. They had to study the prophets, study astronomy, travel quite far, so that they too could witness this child whom they believed to be born a king. God found the shepherds, but the wise men found God. George Matheson, in his book, O Love That Wilt Not Let Me Go, has written on these 2 very different ways that God becomes manifest to us. There are 2 sets of minds in the Christian life: those who find Christ and those whom Christ finds. Those who find Christ are active. Those who are found by Christ are passive. The one has a hard struggle. The other enters the gates in peace. There are some whose experience is that of the wise men of the East. They search for the star and discover it after many days. There are others, like the keepers of the flock in Bethlehem. They are engaged in their own work, and the star comes to them. The men of the East are men of talent. They plan, and they succeed. But the keepers of the flock are men of genius. They never need to plan. They are illuminated in a moment. In the midst of their daily toil, there is suddenly with them a multitude of the heavenly hosts singing glory. They are like the great masters in music. Their work costs them little trouble. They are born to love. They are made to sacrifice. They are bound to say the right thing at the right time. The garment of goodness becomes them, sits gracefully on them. It is a garment not of heaviness, but of praise. Now, I'm not sure how many geniuses we have with us here this morning, but it's worth noting that if Christ found you, or you found Christ, in the end, it doesn't make much difference. One way or the other, Christ was made manifest. Christ was revealed to you. So this morning, I want us to reflect on 3 questions, and I encourage you to really seriously reflect on them. The first question is, when did you first see Jesus? Maybe some of you don't remember, but there probably is some memory of when seeing Jesus started making sense to you. When did you first see Jesus? The second question, how do you see Jesus now? In your day-to-day life, How do you encounter Christ today? And the third question, what gifts do you offer Jesus on this Epiphany? We all have gifts, talents, skills. Identify 3 of them and be willing to offer them to Christ today. When did you first see Jesus? I encountered Christ primarily through my grandparents when I was growing up. They told me about him. They taught me the stories. They showed me what it was like to be a Christian by the lives that they lived. And they loved me unconditionally. How do you see Jesus now? Today I encounter Christ every time we gather for worship. I know, that's the easy answer, isn't it? But it's also true. On a daily basis, I see Jesus in the people I meet. In other words, I see Jesus when I look out at all of you. What gifts do I offer? I think I'll let that be a silent reflection for now. But I do want each of you to make a list of at least 3 talents, 3 skills, 3 gifts that you are willing to offer the Christ child on this Epiphany. Then later on today, ask someone else to suggest 3 more gifts that you might offer. The reason for that second part is often we have rather low self-esteem and we might not think we have any gifts or skills or talents to offer. So it's helpful to ask another person to help us identify our own gifts and talents. Because trust me, every one of us here today has gifts that we can't offer. So our Christmas season draws to a close. As we enter the season of Epiphany, may the light of Christ, enkindled within our hearts during our Christmas celebrations, continue to shine forth in our lives.